Hey all, first of all, I'll introduce myself. My name is Gabriel A. Falanarx Nobisono.
My name is Nursibala Sabila Kurniawan.
Hi, I'm Leticia Luana Reyes Francis.
My name is Baby Julia.
Hello, my name is Mark Adam Fisher.
Now I will talk about define the concept of diplomacy. Diplomacy is the art and practice of maintaining peaceful relationships between nations, groups, or individuals through communications, negotiations, and other means. It involves representing the interests of a state or organizations while seeking to safeguard and promote political, economic, cultural, or scientific relations. Diplomacy is a chief instrument of foreign policy, which is set up by political leaders and it is conducted by diplomats, who are primary practitioners as well as military and intelligence officers. Diplomacy aims to strengthen a state's positions in relation to others by advancing its interests without the risks and expense of using force. It is overtly non-violent, employing international dialogue and negotiations, primarily conducted by accredited envoys and other political leaders. Diplomacy may also involve coercive threats of economic or other punitive measures or demonstrations of the capability to impose force. But it is not invariably coercive. The term diplomacy originates from the ancient Greek diploma, which referred to a document granting privilege and later applied to all official documents issued by countries, especially those containing agreements between sovereigns. So, what is the Good Friday Agreement itself? The Good Friday Agreement itself was a complex and multifaceted peace accord that included provisions on the constitutional status of Northern Ireland, the establishment of a devolved government, the decommissioning of weapons, the release of prisoners, and measures to promote human rights and equality. It established the principle of consent, affirming that a change in the status of Northern Ireland could only happen with the majority agreement in Northern Ireland itself. It also set up various institutions for cross-border cooperation between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, as well as extractors for British Irish corporations.
So, where is the action really located? The agreement was negotiated in Belfast, the capital and largest city of Northern Ireland.
When did it happen? The negotiation concluded on Good Friday, April 10, 1998.
So this agreement involved multiple parties, including the British and Irish governments and most of Northern Ireland's political parties. Key figures included Tony Blair, then Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Bertie Ahern, then Taoiseach Prime Minister of Ireland, George Mitchell, the United States Special Envoy who chaired the talks, and leaders from Northern Ireland's political parties, including John Hume of the Social Democratic and Labour Party, David Trimble of the Ulster Unionist Party, Gerry Adams of Sinn Féin, and others. Notably, some parties such as the Democratic Unionist Party had limited involvement in the agreement process and were critical of the final accord.
The Good Friday Agreement was endorsed by referendums in both Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland in May 1998, demonstrating a widespread public support for peace and the terms of the accord.
the case that we want to explain and how is the situation work in this event or actions are peacemaking during the war is the Good Friday Agreement of 1998, which effectively ended the conflict in Northern Ireland, known as the Troubles. Negotiated between the British and Irish government and the most political parties in Northern Ireland, including loyalties, Republican, and parliamentary groups. The agreement aimed to address the long-standing sectarian divisions in the region. The Good Friday Agreement established a power-sharing government, outlined mechanism for disarmaments, and provided for the release of political prisoners. Despite challenges and occasional setbacks, the agreement has largely maintained peace and stability in NI, Northern Ireland. The Good Friday Agreement, also known as the Belfast Agreement, was a major political development in the peace process of Northern Ireland itself. It aimed to bring an end to decades of conflict, often referred to as the Trouble, which involved violent disputes over constitutional status and sectarian strife between mainly Protestant unions who wanted Northern Ireland to remain part of the United Kingdom, and mainly Catholic nationalists who wanted Northern Ireland to become part of the Republic of Ireland. The peacemaking efforts in the Northern Ireland conflict, known as the Troubles, were multifaceted and involved various actors, initiatives, and process aimed at resolving the decades-long conflict. These efforts culminated in the signing of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998, which marked a significant milestone in the peace process. And now I will mention of the key components of the peacemaking effort that they did. The first one is diplomatic engagement. The second one is multilateral mediation. The third one is track 2 diplomacy. The fourth one is peace negotiations. The fifth one, power sharing arrangements. The sixth one, confidence building measures. The seventh one, international support and monitoring. The eighth, last but not least, the grassroots initiatives.
The aftermath of the conflict in Northern Ireland, known as the Troubles, has left a profound impact on the region's society, politics, and also economy. Despite the signing of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998, which marked a crucial step towards peace and reconciliation, the legacy of the Troubles continues to shape Northern Ireland's trajectory in various ways. Number 1. Political landscape. The Good Friday Agreement established a power-sharing framework in Northern Ireland to accommodate different political aspirations, leading to the formation of devolved institutions like the Northern Ireland Assembly. Despite this progress, political instability and continuous issues such as flags and parallels persist, with deep-seated division hampering efforts to address the legacy of the conflict. Number 2. Social cohesion and reconciliations. Decades of conflict have left deep divisions in Northern Irish society, but initiatives aimed at promoting dialogue, reconciliation, and cultural diversity have made strides towards healing. The path to reconciliation is ongoing, requiring a continuous commitment across the communities. Number 3. Economic development and investment. The conflict impacted the Northern Ireland economy, but efforts to revitalize it have seen progress, though challenges like youth unemployment and Brexit uncertainties continues. Investment initiatives to foster entrepreneurship are key to economic recovery despite existing disparities. Number 4. Transitional justice and legacy issues. Addressing the Troubles' legacy, including unresolved violence and the quest for justice, remains challenging. transitional justice efforts are in place but face obstacles such as political disputes and legal complexities, highlighting the need for a concerted approach to address past grievances. And number 5, security and paramilitary activity. Despite a decrease in violence post-Good Friday Agreement, paramilitary influence and related criminal activities still threaten stability. Efforts to combat paramilitary include law enforcement and community-based initiatives, but socioeconomic issues driving such activities need more attention.
Okay, so the conclusion that could be made based on the text are: the troubles in Northern Ireland were a complex and extremely ingrained war that continued for almost 3 decades, from the late 1960s to the late 1990s. The conflict, which had multiple groups participating with different goals and objectives, was rooted in historical issues, governmental unstable situation, socio-economic inequities, and sectarian tensions. Unionists, who were generally Protestant and attached to the UK, were interested in maintaining Northern Ireland's involvement in the UK, while nationalists, who were predominantly Catholic and wanted a united Ireland, wished to see an end to British control in Northern Ireland. Both sides' paramilitary groups operated in criminal acts like as bombings, shootings, and murders, increasing conflict and maintaining violent cycles. The conflict caused serious social divisions, thousands of victims, and long-term impacts on Northern Irish society. However, despite all of the chaos, efforts to bring about peace and healing starting to gain momentum. The platform for communication, comprehension, and the final agreement was established by diplomatic engagement, multilateral mediation, peace talks, and grassroots activities. An important turning point in the history of Northern Ireland happened in 1998 with the signing of the Good Friday Agreement that created an arrangement for demilitarization, power sharing, and inter-community collaboration. The legacy of the Troubles points out the significance of resolving unresolved issues, encouraging communication, healing, and understanding in order to stop further violence and create a peace that lasts for all communities in Northern Ireland. Even though there are still challenges in the way of achieving and maintaining peace.
So, our critical opinion about this topic is the troubles in Northern Ireland were a prolonged and tragic period marked by violence, deep-seated divisions, and historical grievances. Despite the signing of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998, which aimed to bring peace and reconciliation to the region, the legacy of the conflict continues to shape Northern Ireland's society and politics today. Historically, Northern Ireland has been divided along religious and political lines, with tensions dating back to British colonial rule and the partition of Ireland in 1921. Discrimination against Catholic nationalists and long-standing grievances fueled resentment and conflict within the region. During the Troubles, paramilitary groups on both sides engaged in acts of terrorism targeting civilians and security forces. The violence inflicted immense suffering and left scars that are still felt today. While the Good Friday Agreement provided a framework for peace and power sharing, its implementation has faced challenges. Issues such as truth recovery, justice, and reconciliation remain unresolved, hindering efforts to heal the wounds of the past and build a more inclusive society. Recent events have highlighted the fragility of peace in Northern Ireland, which sectarian tensions and political polarization resurfacing in some communities. It is clear that achieving lasting peace requires ongoing dialogue, understanding, and cooperation among all parties involved. So in conclusion, the troubles in Northern Ireland serve as a reminder of the devastating consequences of conflict and division. While progress has been made towards peace, the journey towards reconciliation is ongoing, emphasizing the need for continued commitment to addressing the root causes of the conflict and building a future where all communities can coexist peacefully.
And that is all from us. Thank you. This is The Troubles.